You've seen the drama. The highs.
I'm really excited by just the progress.
He's learning at an incredible rate.
The lows.
We're used to this from drivers.
Something that happened that he's never experienced before.
Put it in the background now, forget about it.
The dream concludes today. The season finale. This is RACER. Back to where it all began, the home of British motor racing, Silverstone. This weekend it hosts the world's largest Formula Ford competition. Significant progress was made in Donington in the final round of the National Championship, but now Seb's focus turns to the world-famous Walter Hayes Trophy. Cold and windy, the scene was set as Seb took to track for the first qualifying heat of the weekend. He would need to finish at the sharp end of his heat to have a chance to progress to the semi-finals and final on Sunday. Failure to do so would mean he participates in the progression and last chance races early on Sunday morning. The pace on display was incredible. Third place was secured for the first heat race, but not without its controversy. After qualifying, Seb was ordered to race control, where he was struck with a 2-place grid penalty for track limits. A harsh penalty when the infringement was not on his fastest lap. Channeling his frustration of the penalty was crucial as he headed to the assembly area for the first race of the Walter Hayes Trophy. He started in 5th place after his 2-place grid penalty. Knowing he had the pace to beat the cars in front, he took a cautious run into Copse and up to Maggots and Beckett's. And started to gain on the car ahead. And then it happened. Cutting his Saturday short and leaving his Walter Hayes Trophy hopes hanging by a thread. The final day of the season, and potentially his racing career. All the drama, the battles, the journey ends here. To have any hope of making the semi-finals, Seb needed a top 8 finish in both the progression and last chance races. Starting in 10th, he would need to take just 2 cars to complete the first hurdle. What preceded was a masterclass. Up to 2nd in a matter of laps, he pushed extremely hard and engaged in a fierce battle with Josh Fisher to the flag. Seb was right on his tail for the majority of the race, applying intense pressure. And on the last lap, Coming into Brooklands, Seb had a fantastic tow and set up a move for victory around the outside of Brooklands. Fisher, braking later, ran a touch wide and collided with Seb's side pod, with significant damage to his car. They both scampered away, Seb with little damage, in the same order. Controversy right to the finish. This resulted in Seb's first ever car racing podium. One down, one to go. The task was not completed. It was full focus on the last chance race, as Seb needed to have an unbelievable performance to finish in the top 8 and to secure his spot in the semi-finals. The clock was ticking. Starting in 26th, the top 8 was a very long way ahead. A near-perfect start meant Seb jumps 10 cars on the opening lap. An unbelievable start in a race where he was driving to save his weekend. He was on a mission. The scholarship winner shows why he beat over 1,000 people to be in that seat. Within 5 laps, he's P3, battling for second and chasing the victory again. If you needed proof of his talent, there it is. Seb brought the car home in 3rd, 3 laps early due to a red flag. No damage, a sheer masterclass. A jubilant Seb secured his spot in the Walter Hayes Trophy semi-finals. The impossible was made possible.
Phenomenal. There's nothing else you could say about Seb, but just absolutely phenomenal this year. I mean, he had an issue in his heat, bless him, which wasn't his fault. Put him through to the progression race instead. But for someone who's been told not to overtake in the first couple of laps of a race, went from 10th, 11th on the grid to being second in no time.
He's gone past everybody's expectations, and plus some more. It's been thrilling to travel to different places as well with him, and just to see how well he does. There's been so many highlights, possibly this weekend. I think he's really excelled himself.
Yesterday was both high and low. He qualified incredibly well, but unfortunately he was taken out by another car, so that compromised, well, it didn't compromise, he crashed out. Only car to crash out in that particular heat, which is a great shame.
After a long, grueling, yet incredible season, it comes down to this. Seb starts way down the field, requiring a top 18 finish to make it into the final. Lights out. Seb is near the back of the pack and has to take evasive action to avoid a huge shunt. Running wide over a curb, this sheared a bolt in the gear linkage, which meant he was stuck in 4th gear. Unable to change gear, he trundled into the pit lane, but the issue was terminal. Any chance of reaching the final was put to rest.
I've lost gear.
Lost gear?
Yeah.
The season came to an end in the unluckiest of circumstances, at the circuit where this relentless journey all began.
It's just got better and better. He's definitely come out of his shell. I mean, I remember the first event he did at Silverstone, he'd put it in first and he'd crawl away like a grandma. And now he comes in for a setup change, puts it in first and wheel spins away like the rest of them. So he's definitely grown as a character. In this industry, you celebrate the 10%, keep your chin up for the other 90. It's like that. You just got to celebrate the highs and build yourself stronger for the rest. The highs don't come often, so celebrate as you can. He's definitely come on leaps and bounds, and he's had an awesome year, and we've loved having him. It's a shame that he has to come to an end.
A roller coaster. The confidence that he's got is just unbelievable. He is a completely different person, completely different driver.
In the semi-final, had to avoid a crash on the first lap, and the gearbox had a problem because of that. I was stuck in 4th gear, so I had to come into the pits. The highlight of the season will probably be this weekend. Just lots of fun. Really enjoyed it with the team, and I think we had some really good pace, but couldn't show that pace, unfortunately. I have to say thank you to Morgans of Beeson and Dalmeyer for the support through the season, and of course JMR Scholarship. Without that competition I wouldn't be able to do any of this, so yeah, big thanks to all of them.
You can go from sim racing to real life racing if you have the talent, and I believe Sebastian has got that talent.
From his PlayStation to the podium, it has been one hell of a ride. An experience that will stay with Seb forever. This is RACER.
He's getting there, yeah.
Perfect, brilliant. So what are your targets for the season? Enough accidents, we're trying to flat, yeah.